Think back to the last time you gave someone just an everyday, normal compliment. Maybe you told a colleague, hey, great job on a presentation. Or you told a friend, you look really nice today. What actually happened next? I can almost guarantee their brain acknowledged it for a split second. They gave you a polite little thank you, and then, poof, they completely forgot about it, and you, literally 5 minutes later. So why does that happen? Why do our absolute best attempts at making someone feel good usually just vanish into thin air?
It's kind of crazy when you step back and think about it, right? Have you noticed how 99% of compliments just instantly fail? The hard truth is standard compliments are cheap. They're entirely predictable. And because they're so incredibly common, your brain, and the brain of the person you're talking to, simply treats them like cheap background noise. It's just static. The words go in one ear and right out the other without making any real emotional impact whatsoever.
But what if I told you there's a workaround? There is a specific high-level psychological technique that changes all of this. It's called the chosen one effect. And look, this isn't just about making someone smile. This framework completely bypasses a person's logical filters. When you apply it correctly, it doesn't just make someone like you, it instantly reshapes how they perceive your status and your charisma. It is an absolute game changer for social dynamics.
So here's our roadmap for today's explainer. First, we'll look at why normal compliments fail. Next, validation economics. Then, the chosen one effect itself, followed by the three-step formula, and finally, we'll wrap up with the fatal error.
All right, part 1. Why normal compliments fail. Moving right into part 2, validation economics. This brings us to a really crucial concept called validation economics. Basically, most people throw compliments around like free flyers on a street corner. But when you praise someone on something super obvious, like their basic job, their outfit, or their appearance, their brain automatically registers this as validation-seeking behavior. Subconsciously, the person receiving that compliment is thinking, okay, what do they want from me? Or they're just trying to win my approval. And without you even realizing it, that dynamic instantly lowers your status in their eyes.
Take a look at this data. Notice how, as the sheer frequency of those generic compliments goes way up, your perceived status literally crashes. The more you hand out surface-level praise, the less it's worth, and the lower your value appears. But on the flip side, high-charisma individuals preserve and actually elevate their status by doing the exact opposite. They offer rare, highly targeted praise. They don't praise the surface, they praise the core identity. Which leads us perfectly into part 3, the chosen one effect.
So why does this work so well? Well, it relies on a deep human bias called unique identity validation. Look, deep down, every single person fundamentally believes that they are special. Yet the modern world constantly treats us like just another number in this system. When you use the chosen one structure, you're pushing back against that cold reality. You are explicitly telling them, out of everyone here, you are the rare exception. You essentially become the mirror through which they get to see their absolute best self.
Let's actually look at the difference side by side to really drive this home. Your standard, run-of-the-middle generic compliment sounds like, you're really good at managing people. Nice? Sure. Memorable? Not at all. But now, check out the chosen one framework. I've met a lot of managers, but you're the only one who can calm a chaotic room in 10 seconds. Do you see what happened there? It's brilliant. First, you established a baseline by saying, I've met a lot of managers. Then you highlighted their extreme rarity with, you're the only one. And finally, you anchored a highly specific identity, who can calm a chaotic room in 10 seconds. It separates them from the crowd immediately. They feel chosen. They feel deeply understood. And because you were astute enough to notice this, your charisma absolutely skyrockets in their eyes.
Okay, part 4, the three-step formula. Here's the exact playbook you're going to want to remember. Step 1. Isolate a non-obvious trait. This is absolutely crucial. Never ever compliment what everyone else compliments. If someone is incredibly attractive, do not compliment their looks, compliment their sharp intuition. If someone is super wealthy, don't praise their money, praise their discipline. Find what's hidden under the surface. Step 2 is the contrast anchor. This is kind of the secret sauce. Gently compare them to the general standard using phrases like, most people usually do X, but you. Finally, step 3, state it as a casual fact. And honestly, this is where 90% of people mess up. You have got to deliver this with relaxed, non-needy confidence.
Let's put this into practice. Imagine saying this exact script out loud. Most people just nod along to fit in, but I noticed you actually say what you mean even when it's uncomfortable. That's a rare quality. Now, the real trick here is in the delivery. You have to state it like you are casually describing the weather and then you instantly move on. No awkward silence. You do not lean in and fish for a thank you. That relaxed, effortless confidence is exactly what proves you aren't seeking their approval. You're simply an observer of high-value traits.
And finally, Part 5, the fatal error.
Now hold on a second, because as empowered as you might feel with this new social tool, there is a massive catch. If you try to fake this entire process, it is going to backfire completely. The fatal error is choosing flattery over authenticity. Human beings have a highly evolved, hypersensitive radar for flattery. The second someone senses fake praise, you don't look charismatic at all, you just look calculated and, honestly, manipulative. To avoid that trap entirely, you must follow the golden rule: radical realism. You actually have to pay attention. You must genuinely observe something true about the person. Look closely at how they act, how they speak, or how they handle stress. Actually, scratch the surface and find the authentic detail that really sets them apart, and put words to it. When you give someone a real, highly specific, identity-level compliment based on radical realism, you are affirming the absolute best version of who they truly are, and that is exactly why that compliment will stay with them for weeks, if not years.
So I want to leave you with this thought as we wrap up this explainer. True charisma isn't about talking louder or dominating the room. It's simply about making the person sitting right across from you feel seen in a way no one else has ever managed to pull off. By validating their unique identity, you build a profound, instant connection. So try using the Chosen One framework in your very next conversation. How will you make someone feel seen today? Watch their body language shift when you do it, and you'll see the psychology of charisma right there in action.